Amazing. Three, two, one, and we're rocking. I'm alive. So, Jules, thank you for joining me, and keen to get the listeners to hear a bit more about your story. Jeez, my throat's gone. Let's restart that. The air, you know what it is? It's the air quality in Dubai right now is so bad.
Is it?
So like, yeah. So like every single morning I'm waking up with like a very dry throat now. It's been really, really bad recently. But anyway, should be fun. We'll hold up. So Jules, thanks for joining me. I'm keen to go through your story and if you could just share a little bit more about your background, where you're from, your age, what you do for work, and then we can get into how your transformation's been, how things have changed for you over the last few months, and some of your
Yeah, no
results.
problem at all. So yeah, my name's Julian Ennell. I'm 55 currently. I'll be 56 next month. I live in England in East Anglia, and I work in the construction sector, sort of within sort of business development and winning work.
Amazing. And if you could talk us through when we first met, how that was and how you were feeling and some of the results that you were looking for.
Yeah, so when I first kind of came across Asher on LinkedIn, at the time I was doing exercise, but I had been going to a gym, but then we had lockdown and COVID, so I found myself doing Joe Wicks workouts at home, which for a while ticked a box, and then I started to get to the stage where I was thinking, this isn't enough. I'm not doing, even if I was doing it 5 times a week, it wasn't enough because, as you all know, it's hit. So you're not doing a full minute's exercise. It might be 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. So I came across Asher on LinkedIn, had a discovery call with him, and was very impressed with him. Just kind of felt that I could relate to him. He comes across very well. He understood, I think, what I was trying to do. And in terms of what I was trying to do, nothing crazy, but I know that diet, that expression, you can't out-train a bad diet, was something that always used to rattle around inside my head as I was eating something that I shouldn't have been eating. But I kind of think, oh, that's all right. You're doing some exercise, Jules. You're doing better than 90% of people your age, which is fine. But I wanted more. So yeah, had a discovery call with Asher. I'd seen a number of his posts on LinkedIn, and there was something that just made me think, just commit, just have this call. So I had a call with Asher, got on very, very well with him. I didn't want to achieve any crazy results. I just wanted to perhaps feel prouder about myself than I did currently. Perhaps be able to, I don't know, stand in a pair of swimming shorts or something like that and not feel awkward, wanting to kind of put my arms in front of me to perhaps cover up the bits that I'm not happy with. But if I'm being honest with you, I'd never really truly felt happy with my body. I'm not saying that, I'd strip my clothes off and dance around in front of people with just my shorts on even now, but I'd certainly feel better equipped to do so if I chose to. So yeah, that was kind of where I was at, I think, when I first spoke with Asher.
Amazing. And how do you feel
Oh,
now?
I've never, genuinely, I've never felt better. It's been a journey. As you know, Asher, I had a bit going on last year. For those that don't know, my mum unfortunately was sort of taken ill and subsequently died, over a sort of 6, 7 month period. I have to say that kind of signing up with Asher, committing to his program and committing to kind of making changes was that the only thing that I had control over during that period, besides obviously my working life, but that's working in business development. You only have so much control in that as well. Um, but
Yeah.
no, for me, I don't think I don't know how I'd have dealt with last year if it hadn't been for what I was doing with Asher, and I genuinely mean that. Um, Kept me straight, kept me honest, gave me something to focus on, gave me a purpose, gave me something to channel my kind of energy into, and ultimately something that made me feel good as well. And in terms of how I feel from when I started to how I feel now, honestly, I don't think I've never felt fitter. I've never felt happier. It's not even, the walk when I actually kind of first set my program up and I seen I'm doing 12,000 steps a day. I was thinking, my God, how am I actually going to do that? And I think since I've started, I think I've averaged something like 11,500 steps per day. There are obviously some days that you miss, some days you do more, some days you do less, but it's not even something that I really think about now. I just do it and I enjoy doing it. It doesn't matter if I'm walking in the rain, and if you're walking in the sun, it's great. You get suntan and you're getting fit and healthy at the same time. But it's just been transformational for me, in terms of my mindset, in terms of how I feel, in terms of my general mood. I mean, I'm wearing 32-inch waist jeans. I can't remember the last time I was wearing 32-inch waist jeans. You know, your clothes fit differently. You can feel that they fit differently. So you may wear the same shirt or the same t-shirt, but it's filled out in different places and it's filled out in the right places. And I'm sure any men watching this or women will probably understand to a degree, you know, what that means. You got a nice top or a nice shirt and you put it on and you see what you don't want to see. So it's quite nice to put a shirt on and see what I want to see, as opposed to the bits that the shirt should seem to sort of extenuate rather than flatter, if that makes sense.
100%. And yes, it's been a journey, and we've had our ups and downs for sure. Now, there's a lot of people that will be listening to this, and they're living extremely busy lives, and they've been putting off fitness for quite some time, sometimes decades, and they've never really jumped in with 2 feet. You're someone who's very similar. You have a very busy life. You have a lot of things going on, and the last few months for you have been quite intense. Um, I guess it's a two-part question, but do you feel like there's been anything that's consumed all of your time to the point where it's like, hard to stick to or anything like that? And um, yeah, how have you found balancing the program plus the busy life?
Um, I think I appreciate everyone has busy lives, and my role is such that I work from home, but I'm also, you know, forever across the countryside or in London, you know, attending meetings. I think it's a question of just you build it into your routine, you know, whether you're doing it first thing in the morning, whether you're doing it when you get home. There are ways to do it. So for me, if I'm working from home, I'd make a point of stopping at lunchtime and doing a workout. You know, depending on what the time of the year is, depends on what time you could go walking, but certainly, you know, when it's light, you know, you can go straight for a walk of the evening or early in the morning. But equally, you know, a lot of my meetings are in London. So I was in London yesterday. I walked to all of my meetings. You know, so I did over 12,000 steps just walking to 3 meetings. So you can build it in. And I think what you don't realize is how much perhaps walking you do anyway without realizing it. So the one thing I'd urge you to do is probably get some kind of step tracker, just so you have an idea of kind of what you are doing naturally without kind of doing a specific walk. But yeah, it's all about just making it a routine. And I think the one thing I would say is I appreciate people have busy lives and it's hard to sort of build it in. But the one thing you have that you take for granted until you don't have it is your health. And then no matter how much money you may have or how successful you've been, if you don't have your health, you have nothing. You know, that expression, health is wealth. I know it may sound corny, but it couldn't be truer. You know, I look at people of my age and the condition that they're in, and I kind of think, wow, you know, if you wanted to try and now do something about it to try and get your health back, you've got one hell of a journey ahead of you. So they say prevention is better than cure, and I would say that is very true. So you can make it work. Yes, it may take a bit of realignment of your life. You may need to move some things around, but I think it all comes down to what it is you really want to do. If you want to do it, you will do it. You will find the time. You will make it work. You may not be able to do the 12,000 steps every day. You may not be able to do your workouts every single, you know, when you're meant to each week, but you can. There is enough time to do it. And if there isn't, then you must have one hell of a busy life not to be able to make this work in some capacity, is what I would say.
Yeah, plus to add, Jules has done this whole entire thing without a gym membership. So a lot of people have the excuse that, oh, I have to go to a gym, I have to spend my time doing this, I have to travel back and forth, get a shower, get out of the shower, etc. But again, and I'm saying that because I want to take the excuses away from people. You've done this whole thing from
Yeah,
home.
I brought a bench and some weights as you sort of recommended, and to be honest with you, you need minimal equipment to be able to do this. You know, it's the exercises, it's the different exercises that get you the results. It's the eating, it's everything. It's the eating, it's the walking, and it's the weights. But to do the weights, you don't need some crazy setup. You don't need you know, you may have an amazing setup at home, but equally, for me, I've got some dumbbells and I've got a bench, and you can achieve a lot with both of those.
Amazing. And also, do you feel like this routine is sustainable? Because again, I see a lot of the comments, even on some of my posts, that people say, "Oh, it's unsustainable. You can't stick to, you can't get results fast and have it be sustainable." But again, you're living proof. I would like to say that this is
Oh
something that
yeah,
is now drilled
yeah.
in.
This is me now. It's not kind of like, it's not something that I'm just thinking, all right, yeah, this is a program I'm on, and when I get to it, then back to normal. Not at all. You know, the walking is in. I think anybody that's done any exercise for any length of time, you get to a point where you're needing to do it. It's not a question of you wanting to do it. You need to do it. You have this voice in your head saying, do it, do it. And you feel, for me, if I don't, it starts to eat away at me. I can perhaps go a couple of days, 3 days, but if I haven't done a walk and if I haven't done some weights for whatever reason, I have to. It's not a question of it's not a chore. I enjoy it. I feel good for doing it because I know what I'm doing. And yeah,
Yeah.
so it's completely sustainable. It's just a question of adjusting your life to make this part of your life. And it depends on what it is that you want. If you want to go back to feeling unhealthy, not feeling fit, not having energy to do things, not having energy to spend, not being able to be present with your kids, trying to do your jeans up and they feel uncomfortable, wearing a t-shirt and kind of thinking that your man boobs look, horses are courses. But for me, this is entirely sustainable because it comes down, I think, to ultimately what it is that you want. And if you want a change, then you have to put the hard yards in. But it's not. It's part of my routine. It's part of what I do now. This is me. This is my life. This is what I'll continue to do because why wouldn't you? If something makes you feel this good, then and you get the results and you get people saying things, then you're a long time dead, as they say. And I'm determined to kind of rinse as much out the rest of my life as I can. And the only way to do that is to be healthy and active and fit, and also for me, mentally as well. That voice in your head. This shuts that voice inside my head up, doing kind of all this. So yeah, entirely sustainable.
Amazing. And a few months ago, you were on a call similar to this, talking with me. You didn't know me at this point, and you had a decision to make. And that was either let's crush it and sign up, or let's just continue either doing it myself or just having that sort of back and forth with health and fitness and never really committing. What would you say to the person who may be watching this video, who's on the fence or unsure about what they should be doing or if they should commit to a program? And what was going through your mind at the time as well?
So what I would say to anybody kind of watching this and kind of on the fence, commit. Don't kind of do what a lot of people would do, which is, I don't know, someone stepping back and saying, oh, or can I just take some time to think about it? I'll get back to you in a couple of days' time. Because as we all know, I'd say 9 times out of 10, when someone does that, they're probably going to they're either not going to come back because they feel awkward saying no, or they're going to come back and say no because they'll talk themselves out of it. For me, I think, obviously there's the cost aspect. I thought, gosh, okay, that's a fair bit of money. But then there's also the flip side to that is as well, if I pay that money, there is no way I'm not going to be committed to this. It's not like you're paying £100 for gym membership, and if you decide not to go or cancel it, so be it. This was a commitment. Money is money at the end of the day, and I chose to commit there and then. What I wanted to do, I think, on the call, I thought I was going to do was do what I said initially, which was say, you know what, Asher, thanks very much. Let me have a think about it. I'll get back to you. And I also know that if I had done that, I don't think I'd have gone back and said yes, because I'd have talked myself out of it. But I committed to it, and that was the best thing that I could possibly have done. So I'd say to anybody listening to this, thinking about it, sitting on the fence, if what Asher has spoken to you about has resonated with you, and you know that you need to make a change, you could not be in safer hands than Asher. And the only reason I'm saying this is because I wish I'd come across Asher sooner. Meeting Asher last year was up there with probably one of the best things that happened to me, and I genuinely mean that. And I class Asher as a friend, and yeah, we built a solid relationship, and he knows a lot about me, and he's been he's been someone that's listened to me. It's always wants to know how I'm getting on, not just with regards to, the program, but wants to know about my social life, and knew what was going on with my mum last year. So yeah, we've been on a journey.
Yeah, we've had some tough times together, Jules, and yeah, likewise. I'm happy to say again, however long we work together, we now have a friendship, plus the coaching relationship as well, and we've achieved some really good results together. And now you're an honorable member of the team. It's been really good working with you the whole time. And for the record, and I know I said that maybe we're talking about this, maybe we wouldn't, but hey, I like to just keep things like out there. Jules, when he first came on, his first impression was not, I mean, you can speak for yourself. It was, I guess, questioning the process. Let's call it that. Questioning, signing up at the beginning. And I'm very transparent with this. Some people come on and it's nice, like immediately smooth sailing. We crush it straight away. But I've had some people come on and the first month they're really struggling with commitment, or they're just struggling with the process, they're struggling with whatever the case may be. And then sometimes they turn into some of the best transformations overall. And I think Jules is probably fits into the second box there, where at the beginning, there was some hesitation or skepticism, let's call it that, and now we're here, months later, feeling better, feeling fitter, and again, really, really proud of your transformation. Most of all, again, I really enjoy the physical transformations, etc., but the mental transformation where someone's really made this part of their life, where someone sees what I see in fitness ultimately, that's really what does it for me as a coach and what makes me really happy. So it's been amazing to see your transformation, see you grow, and also be with you. So in the debate, probably, I imagine, some of the hardest times of your life, and being there as much as I could possibly be anyway. So man, it's been a fantastic transformation, definitely a hall of fame in terms of my career as well. And yeah, no, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Asher. It's been a pleasure too. And yeah, Asher's always been there. He's always been, whilst I initially thought, how is this going to work with somebody kind of based sort of remotely? That is the way of the world these days, isn't it? Everyone does Teams meetings. It doesn't have to be face to face. But Asher has kept me accountable. He's kept me honest. He's kept me straight. And he's given me that reason, besides me wanting to do it, knowing that I guess I don't want to be disappointing Asher. I want to do my best. And he's made me feel good about myself. And that's not something that I did sort of previously necessarily. So the transformation, not just physical, but mental and many other things. For my son to see how I exercise and how I eat, it just the things that you don't really think about at the time. But, my son is very healthy, very active. And it's been important for me, for him to see my commitment to this, because I think he thought after a couple of weeks, oh yeah, Daddy will go back to, perhaps doing a few Joe Wicks workouts and eating chips or something like that. Not that I ate loads of chips, I hasten to add, but just, the general sort of not being aware perhaps of how many carbs are in things and not really looking at the macros and the grams of fat and just thinking, oh, that's all right, the odd pizza, the odd this, but he's seen a massive change in me, but he's also seen me commit to something and follow through with it. And he can see the differences in me in terms of how I look, how I am, how much happier I am, how much more. I always had quite a lot of energy because I needed it in my job, but I'm light on my feet now. I feel like, when you walk up the stairs, you take 2 steps at a time. Sometimes you can almost feel like whilst you are going on 2 steps now, you almost feel like you could go back a step, if that makes sense, as your leg. Well, now, do you know what I mean? 2 steps at a time is easy. I don't take the escalators. I love taking the steps. Steps are always quicker than the escalators. But yeah, I walk quick. I just feel really good. I look forward to going for a walk. I look forward to doing the weights, even though they hurt, in terms of like, they say no pain, no gain, and it's true. But this is achievable for anybody. Trust me. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. If you commit to it, and follow the plan and stay close with Asher, you will get the results. And hand on heart, I guarantee it.
Sorry, man. I appreciate the kind words. And lastly, 'cause I know we're short on time, but what about the compliments? So over the times you've told me about like compliments you've been getting from other people, how's that been?
Yeah, I've always struggled with taking compliments, to be honest with you. Someone says something nice, I'm kind of like, I don't really know what to say. It's almost like I almost don't pretend I haven't heard it, because I don't quite know how to. But I know that you're meant to say thank you and kind of appreciate it. So yeah, I've had a number of people saying to me, I mean, I don't really want to reference it because it's not a particularly fun time, but, at my mum's funeral, school friends that had known me since I was, known me for a long time were saying, just going, God, Jules, what's going on here? What have you been up to, sort of thing? And I just explained that, yeah, I decided to commit to something, and because I wasn't happy with how I was. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how I look on camera, but I'm 55 and will be 56 in March. But, quite often when I meet people and tell them my age, they don't believe me. And I think even more so now that I'm not, I was never fat. I was never one of those people that was fat. People who said to me, don't know why you're doing this, George. You don't need to. But when you have your clothes on, yeah, fine. And then you take them off, you see what others don't see. And I always knew that I needed to do something. So now to kind of know that, yeah, lots of compliments. But for me, just being able to wear clothes and for them to fit different. You know, I don't need people to sort of blow smoke up my arse, say, "Oh, gosh, you look amazing, Jules." And I don't mean to say that I know that I look amazing either, I hasten to add, but I just mean I feel so good, you know, and it's so nice to wear clothes that fit properly, that you don't sort of, I don't know, love handles, man boobs, bits shaking and wobbling when you're walking around. You know, I've been there, and it's great to kind of A, to have done something about it, and B, to continue to kind of be on this journey of health, because I know that once it's gone, it's gone. So use it or lose it,
Mm.
as they say, and I'm determined to use it. And I wish anybody watching this that takes part in this and embarked on this journey, best of luck. You'll love it, and and you're in safe hands with Asher.
Amazing. Appreciate the kind words, Jules. Um, Guys, if anyone is interested, then just shoot me a message on LinkedIn is always going to be best. And yeah, we'll have a discussion and see if we can get you signed on. Jules, really appreciate your time. Again, you're an absolute legend. Been a pleasure working with you, and we're not finished yet, so we'll continue, and we'll continue to crush it. All right,
Thanks, Asher.
pleasure.